It was announced today that the NFL is allowing for its players to compete in the 2028 Olympics for flag football. The first time ever that the Olympics will feature flag football as a main event. Now, it makes sense why they're agreeing to do this. You are on an international stage. You're going to get a bunch of kids from countries across the world that get to see these superstars and say to their parents, I want to play flag football. It helps funnel into their academies in all these other countries to help build the international presence. So why don't we put together here the dream team? Because we all know, as football fans, that none of these poor countries, you're going to have guys that are engineers, you're going to have guys that are construction workers in their various countries that are suiting up. And if anyone wants to disagree with me, go look at the U.S. cricket roster, because it was basically the same thing.
Curling roster. The Olympics has tons of people that have real jobs but are very specialized in one event. Inherently, I agree with this, because the NFL on their path to get more international games this year, they have 7. Most they've ever rolled out in a year.
Yes.
So they're making a push to get international. I don't hate it. I am not in love with it, though.
We have a roster of 10, 5 on offense, 5 on defense. Now, I'm not totally understanding of the roster construction. I am no flag football expert, but I'm going to just have some fun with this in putting together my team. I'm going to read mine. We're going to talk about it. And you're going to read yours, and we're going to decide if we're going to talk about it or not, because I took this seriously.
So did I.
A lot of analysis that went into this.
So did I.
Okay. There's no offensive line, obviously. Quarterbacks can't scramble, but there is a rusher, apparently, that comes after the quarterback. So I want the most mobile quarterback that is also accurate while throwing on the run. I need a point guard. I need somebody who can just dish the rock. Jayden Daniels is my pick. And now, as I'm saying this, another good pick for this would be Kyler Murray. He'd be so small that some of these guys wouldn't be able to keep up with. He'd be running circles around and just flicking the ball off his hand, making big plays.
Kyler would be great. Jayden Daniels would be great. 2 very fun, exciting quarterbacks that would be awesome. And we'll get through the list before I explain my list.
Okay.
I feel like that would make more sense to usher through the list.
Sure.
And then I can explain the situation and how the NFL Olympics will take place in reality.
Okay. I'm going to read the rest of mine. I agree with you. That was what I was going for. I think that I see too many people saying, let's just go with Tyreek Hill. This is going to be in 2028. He's going to be not a lot slower, but he's going to be slower. I want big body guys. You telling me that Luxembourg's going to be able to have somebody who's going to be able to knock the ball out of the hands of Drake London? No. I want somebody with a big frame, and I want somebody who is a route merchant, who is the best receiver in the NFL. I want Justin Jefferson. And also, you can have Travis Hunter in the mix. You can play both ways. That one's just an obvious gimme. We have him available to us. He's going to be a superstar. You send your superstar to go and make a name for the league and be the face of this. Lastly, I'd put Ashton Jeanty in the mix. He could play in the slot. I don't know how the running back works in this, but you can just move him around. He can also, I think you need a center, so he can snap the ball and then be the dump off safety net and then make a bunch of people miss. That's who I'm going with on offense. On defense, I want Micah Parsons. 4.3 speed as an edge rusher.
Smart.
Some poor young man from Germany is going to be shaking in his cleats seeing Micah Parsons sprint at him at full speed. He's screwed. Kyle Hamilton, safety over the top. Nobody's got the arm talent to throw the ball over Kyle Hamilton, pick after pick after pick. And then I want the 2 biggest, best ball skill guys on the outside, Derek Stingley and Sauce Gardner. Too tall and long for any of these little goobers. Maybe one from South Korea or somebody from Greece. They're not going to be able to create. I can name countries.
I'm liking the geography tour from Joe DeLeone here.
They are not going to be able to create separation. And if they do, we got the length to come back and knock the ball out of their hands. Lastly, this is the creative one that I really like. I need a utility player. I need a safety who is great in man coverage. Yeah. Brian Branch, the Lions defensive back. Boom. Perfect roster.
That's a great team, Joe. And that is a fun team. That is an all-stars team. Here's the thing. You don't need NFL all-stars to win the gold medal at the flag football.
You're just
flag football medal. Okay. This is not regular football in which your team would beat any other team. It would beat a lot of teams that could be constructed with other active NFL players versus Hall of Famers, whatever. You put together a great team, but this is flag football. Okay. Much different, much less physical, different traits that you need.
Okay. I'm trying to go outside. I'm trying to go with the non.
Now, you didn't go Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah,
Josh Allen. You didn't go
too
Jamar
cliche.
Chase. I mean, Justin Jefferson would dominate in flag football. He just would. But I'm not putting Justin Jefferson out off of my team to go play in this, especially with the amount of rampant freak injuries that NFL players suffer nowadays with hyperextension.
Hold on. I reject this. This is going to be happening in July.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the off-season workouts that these guys are doing, they're out running routes and doing 7-on-7 on a field with a bunch of either teammates or other colleagues that are on other teams. They're at training facilities. They are in less of a risk of getting hurt than they would be if they were training at home compared to the guys that are just going to spend the first 3 months of the offseason drinking and going to clubs. Like they're not.
Well, let's not shame them for deciding to live a little.
Those guys typically aren't the ones who make it very far because they fall out of shape. And then when their body's not conditioned, they end up suffering serious injuries.
Sure. That makes sense. I get it. Oh, let me add one more. I needed one more defender.
All right. You're just doing shit,
5 years.
man.
You said it, or 3 years. That would be a good addition to the team. My quarterback. First of all, this is a personal crusade, and I hope it happens. And I hope that he gets to have his words spread about him, like the word of Christ, like the word of Judah, whatever God or religious prophet that you have celebrated in your lifetime. This is mine, and that is Adrian Martinez. He will be heading up my quarterback of the 2028 American flag football soon-to-be championship team. He's got juice. He's thrived in the UFL. He has stayed relevant. He's not going to be a starter in the NFL. He could, but he won't because they're scared of him. They're scared that they overlooked Adrian Martinez and they can't double back. We know the NFL hates to double back. Now you get to be an Olympic champion gold medalist.
Just trying
Congratulations,
too much, man.
Running backs, flag football, you're not getting tackled, so size doesn't really matter. You don't need to be a big, beefy running back. You don't need to run through people. You need to get away from them. So my running backs, if Deuce Vaughn, my number 1 seed pick, isn't available, I'm going blast from the past. Ronnie Hillman.
How old is Ronnie Hillman?
31.
Oh, thanks for writing that down in the document.
Of course, because I knew you were going to ask that question.
Okay, the Deuce Vaughn pick, I'm actually for. I think this is a creative one. Short King Deuce Vaughn is exact. I think that we could create a team of all of the very undersized. I was going to use a different word. Very undersized, starts with an M. All the undersized players at their various positions, like all the 5'6" receivers that we can find. Who is that one guy who was on the Dolphins who is God, he was such a great ultimate team player. Jakeem Grant.
Yes,
Jakeem Grant would have been.
That's a good poll.
Like I kind of understand the value of that. I kind of want to go in the opposite direction. I think all of these teams are not going to have any size, so I want to overwhelm them. I want them to be afraid.
Okay, well, guess who my wide receiver 1 is? 6'7" Johnny Wilson lining up out wide.
There's no continuity with this man.
He's giant. He's giant. Like you said, there's not going to be enough size to jump with him. He could be out there running in water, 50%, and I don't think anyone even gets a pass defended on him. Could you? Do you think, like you said, Luxembourg, smallest country in the world, by the way? You think they got anybody that can jump up and even high five Johnny Wilson pre-jump?
No, and you could have him play safety too.
Yeah,
you play both sides.
I like
ball.
Johnny Wilson, jump ball hero. My next wide receiver, Cole Beasley. Let me get a route god. Let me get a bulldog, an intimidator, someone that talks a little bit of shit to these other countries, and they think they're going to be safe because he's a white guy playing in the NFL or in the Olympics, and they think they're going to be friendly with him with the other Euro people. Cole Beasley doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. He's going to talk trash to you and score on your ass. I like Cole Beasley.
One, how old is he? Two, is the premise that he's going to cough on people and give them some form of COVID.
Okay, you know what? Cole Beasley had his own thoughts.
And out there and start rapping? Is that what we're setting
He ran with those ideals, and he did not back down. Finally,
such a pick that you would make.
Twitter route god, Andrew Hawkins. Phenomenal.
How old is Andrew Hawkins?
He's currently 39. He'd be 42 by the time.
Get out of here with this shit.
We don't need prime NFL players to win this gold medal. We don't. Joe,
okay.
We really don't.
Okay. I don't mind that. But like, if we're going to go this route, let's send out a bunch of high schoolers, and it would be really funny watching a bunch of high schoolers. Like Keyshawn Henderson would smoke any dude from another country. He's this great player who's committed to Houston right now. He's a 5-star recruit. He's a great player. Like, he's somebody that I would throw out there to do this. My problem with, and I know I'll allow you to continue here in a second. There's no continuity because you pick a UFL quarterback who I know you love Adrian Martinez.
Love him to
I
death.
actually think it'd be kind of hilarious if we did that bit where it's like, let's just pick a really random quarterback and then a bunch of superstars.
Not random. He's good, but continue.
You then go with really creative gadget and then old man Ronnie Hillman. You go with really creative gadget Johnny Wilson, Cole Beasley, and Andrew Hawkins for no reason. And then your defense, you got good players, and then we're going with just these. Continue. I don't understand.
Here's what I'll explain. My defense, cornerback 1, Quinyon Mitchell. You know what? I really don't want to have in the league modern players, and Quinyon Mitchell is going to be peaking in 3 years, but he's super sticky, and you need a super sticky outside corner to keep up with their wide receiver 1, and he just does it. You can go run man with him, and he takes away their number 1 option. I bet you what. Their number 2 option can't get past my number 2 cornerback, Patrick Peterson. He's not getting past him. PP.
How old is Patrick Peterson?
He's still under 40, and he will be under 40 by 2028 as well.
He can't move.
Oh, he'd move just fine. Joe, come on.
High expectations.
We watched who's our good, but our somewhat acquaintance, Coach Diamond
Weaver.
Yeah. He was out there running with the college kids when we were freshmen. He had burners, and he kept up with them. Joe, these were pros, and all pros. They don't just lose it. Patrick Peterson could hold his water. Who do I want rushing the edge? I actually
like this one. A 60-year-old version of this player could play this role.
James Harrison Sr. Let's bring out the intimidator.
He might actually hit somebody. He might actually kill someone.
Let's bring it. We actually could get booted from the Olympics from James Harrison physically picking up the quarterback, throwing him. And
can you get a safety? Do you think we could get a safety by throwing a quarterback?
That would be awesome.
That'd be signing up James Harrison. Or Aaron Donald was the other one I wrote down and then deleted.
Aaron Donald would be great. I don't think you're getting him out for a gold medal. I don't think that would really entice him.
Okay, you don't know that, first of all.
I don't think so.
You don't. Oh, you talked
hung up early. He hung up the NFL early. He could have played till he was 40. He didn't want to.
Leaned down Aaron Donald would be more than excited by this opportunity.
We still don't need all that. I was deliberating between James Harrison and maybe like a Calais Campbell, a 6'8".
Calais Campbell would be funny, but he's not going to be fast enough.
But that's if you
guys a good pursuit.
If he could deflect, he could tip passes. He's just a monster. I would, but I like James Harrison. I think no quarterback would feel safe even in flag football with James Harrison running after him. Safeties. Let's go with Harrison Smith, a general.
Move. Oh. He can't move anymore. You think that Harrison Smith can still move?
Not with the NFL, but with the world, he definitely can. And I just want him being a signal caller, a quarterback there, seeing everything. He's the NFL's current active leader in interceptions. It's him or Tyrann Mathieu. And you could make a pitch for Mathieu, but Mathieu hasn't necessarily been a field general. He's been more of a great ball hawk and then live or die by the Mathieu play. Harrison Smith, boring,
this is rage
stiff.
Bait. This is rage bait.
Harrison Smith is boring. Smith, field general. He's Eric Weddle, but I think Eric Weddle is genuinely probably too old for this position. And let's close it out with a fan favorite.
He's a little too old.
I think if you're already, I would say so. Let's close it out with a fan favorite. Someone that
hold on, quick stop. How many white guys did you try to put on this?
This wasn't an all-white guy thing.
Was that the goal? You had a lot of white dudes on this team.
Well, a lot of white dudes got kicked out of the league early, so that's because they couldn't hang.
Okay, continue.
My final. Let's get someone with some name recognition. Someone that's charismatic, great smile, someone that could be a great diplomat. Not the best star on the team, not someone that's even going to really make a big impact on the league, but great to have around. You know who that is? Shiloh Sanders. I'm bringing him along.
You're a bad person for doing this. You're genuinely you're just trying to get me worked up.
I bet he gets a pick. in this.
I'm sure that wouldn't be hard.
So why do we need? Why do I need
so much
Gardner?
Funnier? It would be so much more entertaining.
No, it'd be more entertaining.
I want us to blank everyone.
This team, my team would blank everyone.
I don't know about that. Okay, with your awful list, I have an idea that came in mind a good 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we do the elite of the elite, but we have to reserve one spot for some dude just like Derek, who was a Division III cornerback that is now an accountant.
They would still win. Derek wouldn't even.
I know. I want Derek on the field. I think that we need to do that. I think to like really hammer home the point. We're going to throw Derek out there, and Derek is going to play free safety.
You're already putting a hat on my hat here. My hat is. A hat on your hat. We don't need.
This could have a bunch of dudes with your roster.
We could have a bunch of dudes that have been washed from the league. Barely got a cup of coffee from the league.
Okay,
and can still beat you.
Yeah. I understand that.
That's our depth. We're untouched in depth in this nation.
I understand that we've got premier athletes, and I also, for my understanding, the actual flag football. By the way, those losers are going to complain like crazy that they're not allowed to play in this. I'm sorry that you're not 6'5" and run a 4.3.
You can't do
That's
it. That's
on you.
Can't do it.
You made it as far as you did playing flag football. Good for you. My premise is nowhere related to your premise. My premise is let's take my roster, let's remove Brian Branch, and we'll throw Todd in there. We're just going to Todd. You don't need Todd can run a 5-second 40. I think that Todd would just, again, to prove the point that we could just throw a random dude out there, maybe a player coach. Maybe we got somebody in an analytics department somewhere that he could just be out there calling stuff out, pointing at things. He's got an iPad. Maybe he's allowed to hold an iPad.
I don't know if you'd be allowed the iPad on the
stopping
field.
him? Who's stopping him? Is that in the rule book? Find it in the rule book.
That's a good point. I don't know the rule book. I know that flag football sucks, and I know that this was all brought about so one player could get injured and then everyone could overreact to it, just like they do with the World Baseball Classic. The NFL is so smart because it's all about getting attention on the NFL, and they dominate us for 365 days a year, 366 during leap years. They just do. They have us bent over the barrel, and we'll take it for the rest of our lives. I will happily do that. But it's so transparent to see that they're just letting the NFL players play so one of them can have a tragic injury, piss off a whole fan base, and then it's a sports radio topic for months. And it's what happens in 2032. Do you want your guy playing in the Olympics? Well, we just got gold. Are they going to be that's what it is, unfortunately.
Okay. I stand by my take that I do agree that there will be overreaction. I think that a lot of those people don't necessarily realize that for the most part, the training that these guys are doing at their training facilities involves basically what they're going to be doing in this flag football situation. I just want 1 year of this. And then next year, I say we do college all-stars. I say we just call up all the best college players and we prove a point and we just prove it that way. Or high schoolers. High schoolers could do that too. Actually, I don't know if there's an age restriction there. Although the college actually would make it difficult because the NFL needed to vote to approve this. I'm telling you, they're trotting out the A-listers.
Kids are sitting out of bowl games now. You're not going to get them to play in the playoffs. It's all about the NFL dollars. You cannot separate the NFL dollars from real life here. They're going to be very protective of their stars. You had Trayvon Diggs go out in training camp with an ACL injury. Training, ready to go, like first week of training camp. And that's tough. They wasn't a full bullets. It was doing a drill. Freak things happen in NFL because it's such an explosive sport. You know this. I'm not teaching you something new.
I know.
But
well, the Bears just lost a DB to an offseason workout.
The risk versus reward, that juice isn't worth the squeeze for the NFL. Baseball, I'm all fully behind the World Baseball Classic because their big injury that happened in whatever it was, they're in the last World Baseball Classic, it came when the closing pitcher for the Mets jumped up and down and celebrated a win or a close and tore his ACL. It wasn't anything from in-game. It was, I celebrated and tore my ACL. Freak injury happens in all different sports. NFL, you can get injured on any play.
You could tear your ACL having sex. Like
I haven't though. Have you torn?
I don't know. I don't think you're moving all that much.
I've had some scares.
You planted wrong.
Here's the thing.
You were cutting and you were while you're trying to get upfield. It didn't. You felt a little pop?
Well, no, there was
worried.
There was one time I was rather exhausted after a session, and for some reason I did a lean back while both my knees were down on the bed, and I did a full lean back.
Oh no!
And I'm sitting here like, am I going to be able to get back up from this? My knees and feet are like squishing down like a perfect sandwich.
So you're an example of this. Former football player could have gotten a serious knee injury from having sex. So let's let him go run around out there.
I hope they do, but they won't and they shouldn't. And if Bijan Robinson played in the Olympics, I'd be happy if he got a gold medal. I'd be thrilled if he was a gold medal winner and stayed healthy. But if he got hurt, I would be irate. You would be irate if Malik Neighbors got hurt.
Okay,
it's how people would be.
How many of the NBA guys go down with injuries? That doesn't happen at all, and that is more.
They're still dogging
intense.
it. I know it's real. I know it's real basketball, but they're still dogging it in the Olympics.
I can't agree with this.
The biggest shot from last year was a Steph Curry 3 from range. It wasn't an incredibly athletic block alley-oop 360. Paul George landing on the base of the hoop because he's so athletic and can fly through the air like Superman. It's a shoot around.
Well, this is the football.
This is shoot around
equivalent